Welcome to Fast Tip Friday. This is Amy Bowser-Rollins with Litigation Support Guru. In today's tip, I want to share with you a piece of software that's free that I found a long time ago, and it helps you uninstall software more thoroughly. A lot of times, the software uninstaller that comes with the software that you buy and you go to uninstall it, for some reason, the creator of the software doesn't make sure that it removes all of the files that it installed in the first place. So the name of the software is called Revo Uninstaller, and there's a pro version and a free version. So if I scroll down this page, the one that I use is the freeware version, the free version. It's currently version 1.95. So first you install this software, and this is the software itself. Now the first thing I want to show you before we do an uninstall is the second feature that I use in this software. So you know how your machine, your Windows machine, starts up a bunch of software every time you start your machine? So every time you restart your machine, there's a bunch of software that starts up in the background, and you can go to Task Manager and see what those are. A lot of times it puts a heavy weight on your machine. So sometimes I will go in and disable these files that start up every time I start up my machine, just to give my machine a little bit more wiggle room in terms of memory usage. So they're called auto run files when they run automatically. So you click on Tools here, and then you click on Auto Run Manager. And these are all the files that are currently running every time I start my machine, with the exception of the ones that don't have check marks because I've unchecked them. So let's say that you don't want this QuickTime task to run every time you start up your machine. So all you need to do is uncheck this box, and you'll see in the bottom right hand corner it puts a little message, a little pop-up that says it will no longer start. So let's choose another one just so you can see that again. So in the bottom right hand corner you'll see a message, Acrobat Assistance. Let's turn that off. Okay, so now when your machine starts up, it won't start these files again. Okay. So uninstalling. When you go to uninstall software, typically you'll go to here, which is in the control panel. Windows keeps moving it around, but somewhere along the way you're going to find the uninstall a program option. And it's looked like this for many years. So this is what it looks like. It brings up all the software on your machine in alpha order, and it gives you some information about it, when it was installed, and this is important too, how much disk space it's keeping up, on your. So if you're running out of disk space on your computer, that might be one reason that you are uninstalling software. But there's lots of reasons why you would uninstall software, and this is where people go and they'll click on it. Let's say I want to uninstall this. Now I have an uninstall option here, and you usually click on it, and then it says, do you really want to uninstall? And you say yes, and then it runs the uninstaller that came with that software program. Okay, so I don't come here anymore. Instead, I go into Revo Uninstaller because I know it's going to actually delete all the files that were installed in the machine in the first place. So you click on Uninstaller, and it does the same thing. It pulls up all the software on your machine. And same thing, it gives you the size and the version when you installed it. But let me show you how you can use the software. So let's just choose something. Let's say I want to uninstall FileZilla. So I would highlight it, and then there is a menu option, but I'm a right mouse clicker. So I'm going to choose Uninstall. So the first thing it does is it brings up a dialog box. It says, are you sure you want to uninstall? Just like it does when you go to Control Panel. So you say yes there. And then this is Revo Uninstaller kicking in. So it's asking, do I want to run the built-in uninstaller without any additional scanning? No, I'm never going to do that. Do I want to run it in safe mode? It does less stuff, so I never use this. I don't use advanced because that's a little too scary for me, but I do use moderate all the time. So it defaults to moderate, and I've found it pretty safe to use without messing up my machine. So leave it on moderate and then click on next. Now it's creating a restore point, which we won't get into that now, but it's a good thing. And then it's running through trying to get started, and the first thing it's going to do is run the application uninstaller. So this is the uninstaller that came with the software. So it's initiating that process first. Okay, so in this case, you know, when you uninstall software, sometimes it says this. So I'm going to tell it I'll do it later. All right, so once we've done that, then I click next. And now it's scanning the registry for any leftover files, folders, and registry settings, which is awesome. Depending on how robust the software is that you're trying to uninstall, this can take a little bit of time. It never takes very long, though, but it does take a little bit of time to do the scanning process. Okay, so when it's done, it's telling you to go ahead and click next. So you click on next. And this is what it looks like when it didn't find any leftover items. So this is a good thing that the uninstaller for this software is doing a good job, but I always use Revo Uninstaller, so sometimes it does the right job and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm going to click Finish, and now we're going to uninstall something else. So let's choose something a little bit, I have a lot of software installed, but let's choose something that might be a little bit more pieces. Let's try Photoshop. So this is the regular uninstall for the software. So now the regular uninstaller is finished. So now we'll click next so it can scan. Okay, so now it's finished scanning, and I'm going to click next to see the results, see if it found anything. Okay, so I'm going to collapse this. So in this case, it found, so remember, it's searching for files, folders, and registry settings. So in this case, it found leftover registry settings. So these are all, if you don't understand what registry settings are, it doesn't matter. It's just part of Windows in how it, you know, how it all works. But it found a whole bunch of files in the registry setting that were not removed by the uninstaller. So I'm going to select them all and then click delete. Now here is leftover files and folders. So these are all folders that might have something in them, or they might even be empty from, you know, the uninstaller took stuff out of the folder but left the folder. It happens all the time, and it's very frustrating. So that's what these are. So I'm going to select all. And these are all related to the software I'm trying to uninstall. It's silly. Select all and then click delete. It's just letting me know that it needs a reboot. Oh, I see. This one folder is going to be deleted when I reboot. Okay. So we're clicking next. And then we're clicking finish. And that's it. So now Adobe has a whole bunch of, it's a suite, and it has a whole bunch of software, and they're interrelated, and some of them share the same files. So you'd have to think about what you're doing in terms of deleting them. Hopefully, the registry settings there, you could see they were isolated to Illustrator and Photoshop, which makes sense to me. But uh, anyways, I hope you can understand how this software does a much better job of uninstalling software. So that's it for today's tip. I hope you can put it to good use.